Conjugation of the verb to sit in 12 English tenses, he, she, or it, with example sentences. 1. Simple present. He sits by the window every morning. She sits in the front row during meetings. It sits on the table as decoration. 2. Simple past. He sat quietly during the movie. She sat on the bench at the park. It sat on the shelf for years. 3. Simple future. He will sit beside you at dinner. She will sit in the waiting room until her appointment. It will sit on display at the gallery next week. 4. Present continuous. He is sitting on the porch reading a book. She is sitting at her desk working on a project. It is sitting in the sun. 5. Past continuous. He was sitting in the library when I saw him. She was sitting by the pool when it started to rain. It was sitting on the windowsill during the storm. 6. Future continuous. He will be sitting at his desk this time tomorrow. She will be sitting with her friends at lunch. It will be sitting on the shelf in the new exhibit. 7. Present perfect. He has sat in that chair all day. She has sat here many times before. It has sat untouched for years. 8. Past perfect. He had sat in the waiting room before the doctor called him. She had sat on the bench for hours before anyone arrived. It had sat in the attic until they decided to move it. 9. Future perfect. He will have sat through 3 classes by the end of the day. She will have sat in the meeting for 2 hours by the time it ends. It will have sat on display for a month by then. 10. Present perfect continuous. He has been sitting in traffic for an hour. She has been sitting at her computer all morning. It has been sitting in the sun all day. 11. Past perfect continuous. He had been sitting on the patio before it got too hot. She had been sitting at her desk since early morning. It had been sitting on the mantel until it was moved. 12. Future perfect continuous. He will have been sitting at the cafe for an hour by the time we arrive. She will have been sitting in the office for several hours by then. It will have been sitting on display for. It will have been sitting on display for a year in the museum.